Well, as Super Bowl 53 approaches, we're looking back at how the Rams and Patriots made an impact on Twitter. The most viral tweet from the Rams officials' Twitter account was when they announced that they'd wear their blue and yellow throwback jerseys for the Super Bowl. Well, for the Patriots, it was a video of Tom Brady hugging wide receiver Chris Hogan, who teased him about his advanced age. The 41-year-old Brady was the most tweeted about NFL player this season with nearly 3 million mentions. And he doesn't even have his own account. TJ Adeshola is the head of sports at Twitter, and he joins me now from Atlanta. You know, TJ, the Super Bowl has long been associated with wings, with beer, with funny commercials. But how is the Super Bowl weaving itself into the fabric of the big game?
I'll tell you, I liken Twitter to a global sports bar. It's the cookout. It's you hanging out with your friends, even if you're not sitting directly beside them. So it creates this amazing complimentary experience where you're watching the game, but then you're glued to your phone because you want to see the memes. You want to see what people think about Tony Romo predicting plays before they occur. It really is this perfect complement to what's occurring on your television screen.
So in the time that you've actually been working at Twitter, what would you say is really the biggest change to how people consume sports?
Yeah, I think people are more accustomed to direct access. Now there's a tool like Twitter that allows you to communicate in real time. And you're not just communicating with your best friends, you're communicating with athletes, you're communicating with superfans, you're communicating with the teams, the leagues, and journalists as well. So there's a level of connectivity that has never existed before, and there's a level of real-time consumption of content, and we happen to be at the forefront of that, and it's pretty awesome when the two come together.
It is pretty awesome. And you talk about real-time consumption. You also worry, I mean, I'm sure these athletes must worry about when you're more avid social media users. How has Twitter sort of been an effective tool for these players and the league to make sure they do it responsibly, right?
It's a great question, and it's something that we take very seriously. So this week we've had meetings with teams, we've had meetings with players, agents, and the NFL Players Association as well. Our tool is a powerful microphone, right? We equip players and athletes to communicate to the world with just a few keystrokes. That's crazy. Immediately and instantaneously. We understand that's really powerful, and we want the players to understand the power of that tool as well. So we've had a fantastic job in having these conversations with the players, and they love it, they have fun with it, and a lot of that comes to life in the timeline on a day-to-day basis.
So TJ, the athlete who really got the most mentions on Twitter, Tom Brady, how is it possible he doesn't even have a Twitter account? Have you tried to get him in on the action?
There is tons of conversation around Tom Brady on Twitter. The Wall Street Journal actually just showcased a really cool piece we did where the GOAT emoji was most associated with Tom Brady than any athlete ever outside of Michael Jordan. So that's really interesting. I'll tell you, outside of Tom Brady during conference championship weekend, the second most mentioned person didn't even play. It was Tony Romo because he was predicting plays before they happened on the field. Those are the types of unpredictable moments that unfold on Twitter on a day-to-day basis. I love sports Twitter. I can't lie to you, Rena.
You know, it's terrific, and I got to tell you, I'm not surprised about the Romo action that you guys are getting on that. I want to ask you, though, Twitter has pushed for sports streaming rights. What do you view as the next frontier for Twitter, and really the goal? Is it exclusive viewing rights?
Yeah, so for us, we just want to create the coolest, most fun, the most super dope experience for sports fans in one device, right? So that may mean you're still watching your linear television, but you're consuming that content on Twitter, or it may mean that some of that content may be living within the Twitter app. So for us, it's creating a really differentiated experience that enhances what you see with the NFL and what you see with their broadcast partners. So we'll continue to have exploratory discussions with our partners. We want to create really cool experiences for sports fans. We've done a good job so far, so we'll continue to challenge ourselves, and our partners like the NFL will challenge us to continue to make sure fans have fun when they come to Twitter to consume the Super Bowl.
I might steal that line from you for our show. Thank you for joining us to our most super dope experience. I love that line, the most super dope experience.
There you go.
Hey, I do want to ask you though, what's your expectation, TJ, for engagement on Super Bowl Sunday?
So the beauty of sports, you know this, Rena, is the unpredictability of it. We don't know who's going to win. We know we've got a really old quarterback who might be the GOAT and a really young quarterback in golf. You've got a really old coach in Bill Belichick, and you've got a really young, awesome coach in Sean McVay. So we understand that it's East versus West, young versus old, tons of amazing storylines. So what I can predict is unpredictability. I don't know, but I'm cheering for a whole lot of tweets, and I know Tony Romo is going to help amplify that conversation a little bit. So I can't wait to have my phone in hand, watching the game with my friends that I'm sitting beside or my friends that exist within the timeline.
I absolutely do the same. I really enjoy being on Twitter when you're watching football. So TJ, I want to thank you very much for joining us. So grateful you can break it all down for us.
Thanks for having me.
You bet.